Hello and welcome to the Underdog Racing League, live tonight from North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Dale Jr. Save Track 115. I want to welcome you to VSPEED and of course this track here in North Wilkesboro. Well known that the efforts to bring this back to the sim or back to life in iRacing initiated by Dale Jr. and Steve Myers. And that is where we are racing tonight. A short track here. Should be a lot of fun. Some beating and banging. And some drivers fighting at the top of the championship standings to try and take over the points lead. We'll bring up the points right now so you can take a look at where drivers enter into this race in the standings. Right now it is Mike Aiello Jr. tied in a three-way tie with Sean Huffsteller and James Loveland. All three of those drivers with wins this season, just race number 9 tonight. And all of those drivers with wins in the first 2/3 of the year. Nick Alves, the next driver behind them, Trevor Earhart and others trailing by just a bit. And it is important to note that the drivers have a couple of drop races, so the points will be recalculated following the final race of the season, and some drivers may gain or lose spots because of that. Essentially, their 2 worst races get dropped out of their results. As the drivers head to the qualifying session, let's take a look. On board with driver of the number 74, Mike Aiello Jr., and we'll bring up the qualifying ticker so you can see how these drivers do. And important to note as well, the theme tonight for this race, it's going to be Halloween coming up here in just a few days. Drivers sporting festive paint schemes to take part in that holiday. As on the pole right now, Justin Stunard with a 17.714, good lap time to kick things off, but he gets topped by Doug Wolcott, actually, who runs the 17.714. Stunard with an 8:07, just a little bit farther off, and you can see the 74 of Aiello Jr. He puts the time in. He was 7th, now 8th. As drivers keep knocking him down, he is already outside the top 10 in 13th position. So not his best qualifying effort as David Buell wraps up his session. He'll currently sit 5th, but getting knocked down. David Carpenter taking over the top spot. The M&M's machine, driver of the M&M's Toyota Camry, actually the Skittles Zombie Edition in tonight's race in the Cup Series. Kyle Busch, he took home the win. If you haven't caught that yet, then definitely an interesting finish to that race. Go back and check it out. And going to be interesting to see how the Cup drivers do next week at Martinsville, or next weekend at Martinsville. And hopefully we don't have any type of extended rain delays like we did for the race this weekend. But North Wilkesboro is such an interesting old track. As we take a look at Tony Baird, his Reese's Puffs Bats machine. And a lot of drivers sporting candy themes. As we will go on board with Matt James. Let's go into the cockpit with him. As he makes his way around this racetrack right up to that outside wall. Down to the apron there, or not the apron, the curb. As he dives into turn number 1. Actually going to wrap up there. Trevor Earhart has not made it on the racetrack yet. He's got a couple minutes to do so. Looks like he is revving it up. Going to get rolling off pit lane here. We'll follow along with Trevor for his 2 qualifying laps. Go to the roll bar here with him. Want to welcome everyone in to the race tonight. This is the Underdog Racing League, live from North Wilkesboro Speedway. Just a couple minutes before we head to the starting grid, and Trevor Earhart, the last of the drivers to take a time. And actually, I think when he wraps up here, qualifying will indeed wrap up as he comes out of turn number 4. Can he take the top spot? Earhart, 17.772. or 7.55 rather, and that is good for 6th. Can he improve on lap number 2? Currently about a 10th and a half off the pole, and he's going to tag the wall there, I think. Runs a little bit slower anyway, so not going to improve. And 25 drivers in the field tonight. He currently sits 6th, and I think that should pretty much do it. If all the drivers get off the racetrack, we've got a minute left in the session. And that is going to do it for all the drivers taking a time tonight. I want to make an important announcement about our Thursday night series. Formerly the Brawl Network presented NASCAR Brawl Cup Series, no longer in association with that network, and they have returned to the previous podcast title of Below the Double Yellow, so it's going to be the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series on Thursday nights for future notice. So if you see a series that looks a little bit different to you, that will be the one that we are bringing to you on Thursday nights. It was the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series, and now the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series. So looking forward to wrapping up the season with those guys as qualifying comes to a close. Let's go to our starting grid to see where your favorite drivers are going to be rolling off here tonight. They make their way on to the racetrack. On the front row tonight, it's going to be David Carpenter with the pole time, a 17.608 in that number 71 machine. You see him right there, the M&M's Toyota Camry. Sitting on the front row, James Loveland with the 17.652. He'll roll off second right alongside of him. In row number 2, Douglas Wolkett, the 15 machine, the Butterfinger car. Starting in third, Winston Deal starting in the 4th position. And that Brock's fiery machine. Sean Hustetler starting in 5th position. Trevor Earhart going to be rolling off from the 6th spot here tonight. Nathan Morris rolling off 7th. Justin Stunard going to be starting in the 8th position. Rolling off 9th, it'll be Matt Janes, and rounding out the top 10 on the grid, Brad Allison. David Buell going to be starting 11th. Christopher Heights rolling off 12th. 13th will be Dylan Walterman. 14th, Alan Bargenquast. Dennis Steele starting 15th. Nick Alves going to be starting 16th. Parker Johnson 17th. John Magner 18th. 19th, Cademan Moore. 20th, Mike Aiello Jr., your points leader headed into tonight's race, tied with a couple other drivers. Brett Sommers starting 21st tonight. Kevin Orlando 22nd. Tony Baird rolling off 23rd. Scott Kerberg starting 24th. And rounding out the field tonight, it is Jake Williams, the number 29 car, rolling off 25th position. 25 drivers, 115 laps here tonight at this 5/8 mile racetrack. And who do you think is going to win? Who are you cheering for tonight? Let your voice be heard. Cheer them on in chat and let us know who to follow along with throughout the event. As the drivers are waiting, that pace car to make the hard left turn on the pit lane. There he goes. And in the hands of David Carpenter. And we are underway. Green flag in the air for the North Wilkesboro 115. Dale Jr. saved track here from the Underdog Racing League as the drivers dive down into turns 1 and 2. Clean and green through there. No issues yet. The 71 of Carpenter in the lead. But here comes the 56. Right to the outside. Can't make it work. Loveland going to settle for second as they march across the start-finish line, but the battle is on for third. Douglas Wolkett up high, trying to fight off the attempts from Winston Deal, and he will. He'll drive into that 3rd position. So Winston Deal takes a look down low once again, and at the front, James Loveland, who had such a great run last week. I believe was actually your winner in that 56 car. He takes the top spot away from David Carpenter. And it looks like maybe some battles going on back here. Christopher Heights to the outside of the 51 of Matt Janes. That's for 9th and 10th position as he dives deep into turn 1. He takes that spot away to move to the 9th position. And a Happy Halloween Creepin' It Real car, that 21. So up at the front, James Loveland has pulled away by a few car lengths now. The gap about 3/4 of a second to David Carpenter, and that battle for third still Going on the 15. Douglas Wolkett just about a car length in front. Winston Deal peaks down low out of turn 4. Can't get there as the 33 of Justin Stunard right behind them. And the top 6 all single file with Sean Huffstetler a couple car lengths even further back. As Brad Allison kind of heads up this second group in the 03 machine. Another Happy Halloween Ghosts and Pumpkins all adorning that race car. And caution on the speedway. It looks like the 97 of Earhart, Trevor Earhart, possibly going around. Not entirely sure, but let's go take a look at what brought out the first yellow of the night. And we just found it here. It looks like it was Justin Stunard, the 33. He gets really loose on entry into turn 3, slides it up into the outside wall and slams it really hard, bringing out the yellow flag. That 33 car was running up there in the top 10, and heavy damage now as he brings it to the pit lane, misses his box. Gonna have to get the damage repaired, possibly use a fast repair on that race car, and definitely has to hope that the engine doesn't expire. As Brett Sommers also brought it down. He's sporting the Patriot scheme that I believe he ran last week for the football-themed race. Trevor Earhart also brought it down the pit lane. He had a 12.6 second stop, so 4 tires. Brett Sommers only took fuel, it appears. But a very mixed scheme here for Trevor Earhart. He's got Kellogg's, he's got candy, he's got Frankenstein. All over the place, very Halloween themed for Trevor Earhart, who started 6th and he's back to 23rd right now. I think he might have actually started from the pit lane based on where he was running when the yellow flag came out. But James Loveland, your leader here so far. That 56 car. He's got Venom on the race car. Venom from the Spider-Man universe. As the field works their way out of turn number 2. Going to be going green this time, so nice short caution break. And already 1 yellow here. Let's take a look at the track, as we didn't get a chance to do that before the race. Only 88-degree track temp, so shouldn't be too bad. Should be plenty of grip. But the hardest part about this racetrack definitely is breaking down into the corner. It is so difficult to get the car slowed down, and with not a ton of banking to keep it underneath you. Can really slip out from behind if you've got the brake bias dialed in. But green flag underway once again, and we've got that battle for third. Winston Deal and Douglas Wolkett. They continue to fight it out. That 0 car up high. That is Winston Deal, showing 44 on the ticker, but 0 in the race here. And the 15 machine going to be able to slip on past, so give that spot to Douglas Wolkett. But here comes the 0, going to fight back to the inside, and we've got a wreck farther back. Looked like the 14 car of Kerberg went around. Let's go take a look at what happened. Second yellow of the night already. And that was actually the 17 of Bargain Class. Let's take a look here. Bargain Class up high, fighting with the 51 machine. That was Matt Janes down low. So I'm getting a little bit squirrely out of 2. Goes to the inside, hard braking again. Clips that curb, slides up the racetrack. He gets tagged by the 28 of Dennis Steele, I believe. Yep, that was a Dennis Steele. Let's see if anyone else involved. I think 48 got a piece of it. Yeah, a big piece for Parker Johnston. And he'll have to bring it down the pit lane. Looks like he missed his box, though, so he'll bring it back down. So Parker Johnston, the front end of that car really jacked up, actually, in the way that the 17 was spinning around. But a short race here tonight. I'm actually surprised by the length in terms of laps, because it's only about a 71 mile race. So very reminiscent of a big time like short track race you'd have in your hometown. You know, this would be the big event of the year with 115 laps, but not too long of a race for these Cup cars. As Parker Johnson, you see that car repaired now as he makes his way off the pit lane. He will remain on the lead lap. The only driver off the track or off the lead lap, Justin Stunard, the 33, who's taking it behind the wall. 24 drivers still on track and still on the lead lap as James Loveland continues to show the way and has yet to give up the lead here. He was fighting it out. David Carpenter was your pole sitter, but has not really been able to challenge the 56 just yet. As he's led 14 of the 15 laps completed. David led the first one, and it has been all Loveland since then. And James Loveland fighting for the championship as well. David Carpenter comes into this race not in contention for that. As we go double file once again, gonna get the green flag this next time by. So not gonna be a lot of time. I don't think we'll be able to interview anyone during these commercial or caution breaks. Not really gonna be able to go to commercial either. Just maybe a quick side-by-side at some point if we get a nice green flag run. But the 56 car of James Loveland doing a great job so far at holding on to this top spot. Pace car makes the hard left-hand turn. And waiting on the green flag. 56 of Loveland gets going. Good jump there as he'll clear the 71 down into turn 1. And the 15 dives hard in underneath. This is a good opportunity to take that spot away as the 71 up the racetrack almost catches the outside wall. And there goes Wolkett to the inside. He'll take away second. Now the 71 set to battle for third position as the double or the zero machine of Winston Deal behind him dives deep into the corner. The 71 drifts up out of the bottom lane. And now they'll be side by side down the backstretch into turn 3. The zero dives in deep, where we've seen cars have issues tonight. And he'll take away third. So your pole sitter back to the 4th spot as we had a car way up the track. I believe that was the 27 of Kevin Orlando Jr. who went way up the racetrack. Looks like... not sure what theme that is. Thank you, FSL Radio Network, for the follow. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you enjoy the broadcast as we've got side-by-side back here. That is Trevor Earhart trying to make his way through the field, and now alongside Mike Aiello Jr. So 74 way up out of the groove. 97 is going to drive on past and set his sights on 17 of Bargain Quest, who's already gone around in this race. And now the 20 machine in front of him, that's actually the 52 of Buell on the ticker. He's going to go 3 wide. He gets knocked out of the way and then spun out. That's the 22 behind him. And no yellow. There's the yellow flag. Nathan Morris. Okay, we've got a few cars with different numbers on track tonight, but that was David Buell getting knocked out of the way and then spun out. Let's go take a look at the replay. See exactly what happened. You saw David was well off the pace. These two cars trying to find a way around. 17 tags the wall. 97 right to his bumper. Knocks him up the racetrack. Rubs the door a little bit. And then that was the 22 who spun him around. 13 machine of Tony Baird right there behind him. Able to stay off, but let's take a look from the nose of Nathan Morris. As they were approaching this, you can see Buell gets knocked out of the way. Nathan kind of lifts, but nowhere to go as the 20 car really just slammed on the brakes, it appeared. And Nathan couldn't slow down in time. He collects that front end damage. And the leaders electing to remain on the racetrack. For the moment, we'll see if they bring it in this time or if anyone brings it down. So John Magner just rolling off the pit lane. He's got heavy damage around that race car. Dennis Steele was on the pit lane to get a little damage repaired. Brett Sommers as well. More tires and fuel on that race car. Sean Hussutler brought it down. Of course, David Buell bringing it down once again. We'll see what he does here in terms of damage repair. He brings it to the hands of his crew. They will repair that race car back to brand new with the fast repair provided. And we are going to go quickly to a side-by-side commercial break and catch this next restart.
Welcome to VSPEED, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing and specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors.
I think, and right now I'm gonna have to call it there early again. These commercial breaks so short tonight, or caution breaks rather, as pace car makes a hard left. About a quarter of the way through, and green flag back in the air. Good restart by Douglas Wolkett as he works to the outside of your race leader, James Loveland. And really the first challenge for the lead on any of these restarts. He'll stay alongside and get an advantage headed down into turn number 3. And the 56 pulling back out in front. He'll clear the 15, but the crossover not going to happen. Douglas Wolkett can't get back underneath. And here comes Winston Deal trying to challenge for second place. As side by side behind them, David Carpenter, your pole sitter, is not going the right direction. He's got Christopher Heights to the outside, who really sends it there in the middle of the corner. He'll now be set to battle with Brad Allison, the 03. Behind them, Matt Janes, and then the 02 of Dylan Walterman. You see Trevor Earhart and Cademan Moore actually sporting the exact same paint scheme, the 84 and the 97. The kind of variety pack Halloween scheme. A lot of other drivers sporting pumpkin or candy related schemes. So we see Nick Alves down here in the 12th position fighting with the 17 of Bargain Quest. And Bargain Quest, a good run out of turn 4. He'll get back to the outside. And lots of battles around the racetrack. But James Loveland continues to show the way and show the strength of the field here tonight. Leading 30 of 31 completed laps, now 31 out of 32. As they are just clicking these things off right now, 18.67 for James last time by, and that battle for second still pretty heavy right now as the 15 trying to hold off Winston Deal in the 0 car behind him. And it is really starting to get crazy back here, though. The 21 of Heights moves to 6th. And he's going to bring Trevor Earhart, who gets a little squirrely under braking. He'll try to take that spot away. And now the 21 tight off the corner. And Earhart going to go straight on past, but the 21 losing ground now. Here comes the 51 of Janes. And the 27 of Kevin Orlando Jr. next in line down there to try and take advantage. So 21 got to the throttle too early and could not get that race car to get out of the corner. You see how hard he's turning it. Those front wheels pointed very far to the left. As now it looks like the 27 took a peek to the inside, couldn't make it work, but he battles with the 84 of Cademan Moore, who's on the outside lane. The 02 of Walterman right here behind all of them. Looks like maybe a little slide for the 17 of Bargain Quest. As we've got beating and banging going on. The 51 of Janes out of shape right now as they head down into turn 1, 3 wide. And 22 of Morris backs out of it. Almost makes contact out of 2 though. This is the 51 really losing pace here. And he is way slow into the corner. 74 of Aiello Jr. to the outside. Nearly 3 wide on exit, and they are 3 wide behind him. That was the 17. Now 3 wide with Huffstutler and Parker Johnston, and the 17 going to drift up. He makes contact. 48 goes around. They're spinning to the apron. That collects the 18. The 17, the 18, and the 48 all trying to get pointed in the right shape. The leaders are going to be coming out of turn number 2 here in just a moment. And there they are. Oh, and they catch the leader, James Loveland, nowhere to go. The 17 pulled right out in front of him. And Bargain Quest, bad mistake there as he collects the leader. What was otherwise an accident from the mid-pack on. Let's take a look here at how this all kind of started. The 17 was down low. You see him 3 wide in front. The Bargain Quest, not a good run out of turn 4. He gets the 94 of Huffstetler to the inside. And the 48 of Johnston to the outside. And Huffstetler down low. 17 in the middle. 17 drifts up the racetrack. Catches the 48. Catches the 18 as they slide down the course. And the 17 of Bargain Quest just had to have a little bit more awareness on this. He moves up to the wall. Backs up. So much room for the leader. But then just drives right in front of him. And Loveland nowhere to go. What a bad break for James Loveland. Let's go to the nose cam on his race car as that was developing. You know, no idea that the wreck has happened. As he comes out of turn number 2, 17 backing up, and then he just pulls out in front. James collects the outside wall in that. And damage on both sides of the race car. But he will take, looks like, the faster pair on that one. He's currently scored 11th, and possibly some other drivers bringing it in this time. Looks like they will. Nathan Morris scored as your leader. He remains on the racetrack after pitting earlier in the event. And he does have some nose damage on the car. Mike Aiello Jr., Sean Huffstetler, and a few more staying out. But Huffstetler pitted 17 laps ago. Brett Sommers 18. Dennis Steele 17. David Buell 16. But Mike Aiello Jr. 42 laps on those tires, which is the most of anyone at this point in the race. And Heathen making fun of yourself there. 33 of Stunard out of the race. Only driver out of the race right now. Parker Johnston, the only driver a lap down at the moment that is still on the racetrack. John Magner at the tail end of the lead lap. He is 23rd. He'll pass Jake Williams, who sits on pit lane right now in the Friday the 13th 29 car as he makes his way off pit lane now. And should get the 1 to go. As we are about a third of the way through the event. Laps just flying by here. Even caution laps only 41 seconds. So if we ran this whole thing under yellow, only be about 70 minutes. So going to be a short broadcast here tonight. Nathan Morris elects to take the outside line with Mike Aiello Jr. on the inside line. First time we've seen the leader take the outside, but Aiello with old tires like we mentioned, and 22 with damage, and 74 gets out in front, but great restart by Morris as he jumps out to a 3 or 4 car length lead, and Aiello stacks him up down low. He'll dive into the corner, can't make the turn really, and here comes the 94 of Huffstetler to the inside, and it will be very interesting to see these cars on fresh tires make their way through as Buell already dropping positions to the cars on fresh Goodyear Eagles. Loveland, the first of those cars, and he's already up to the 6th position. He's got heavy pressure from Winston Deal behind him, and the 0 car going to take a look down low, nowhere to make that move. As the 56 peaks to the middle, the 7 of Sommers up high, and Dennis Steele right there in front of him. Now we're going to go 3 wide. The 0 very sideways as he got on that transition at the entry to pit lane. And Loveland being very careful here as he's alongside Sommers. The top 2 of Huffstetler and Nathan Morris as Huffstetler is taking the top position away. Fresher tires than Morris and much less damage. Ooh, looks like Dennis Steele got a punt there from the 56. As some of these guys having trouble making their way back past the lap cars. Aiello Jr. falling backwards. He's now under pressure from the 56. of Loveland as they come out of turn 2. Almost up against the wall that time. The 56 making good progress down low. He'll take that spot away, but is trapped behind a couple cars and almost makes contact with Winston Deal. That Zero machine has been very aggressive on turn exit. Knows he's got a shot to take over as net leader if he can get around that 56, but Nathan Morris up high there. 56 in the middle. Here comes the Zero. They're 3 wide down the front stretch. Loveland backs out of it. Now Winston Deal on those fresh tires, the first car in line to go up there and chase the leaders down. Dennis Steele fighting on the outside, though. That is 3rd position. And Winston Deal going to drive on past, and here comes Loveland. He'll go by as well, so they take over 3rd and 4th. And at the front, Hufstetler is driven away by a 2nd. And I think... oh, Nathan Morris was up there. Morris has lost a ton of ground. I think he had an issue just a moment ago. He's back to 8th spot. That car with heavy right side damage now. I think he caught the wall. And we'll see how fast Winston Deal can chase down Hufstetler. And here he is, knocking at the back door, and the 56 of Loveland as well, trying to find a way around. Out of turn 4, it is Winston Deal, your leader, and James Loveland trying to follow him through. And yellow flag gonna fly. Who is it this time? Looks like the 81 of Nick Alves with heavy damage. What happened to Nick here to bring out this yellow flag? Let's go take a look. So Nick goes into the corner. You see Nathan Morris up there in front, and he cuts down across the identical race car, the 103. Well, that is just the 03, rather, of Brad Allison. Let's go back one more time and see what Brad saw from the nose. Just clipped him there out of turn 4, ran out of real estate. That brings out another yellow flag here. Let's take a look now at this. The recap 5 cautions here in the first 56 laps, so just about halfway. And only the 4 lead changes. Right now, Winston Deal is your leader in the Zero Brox machine. Behind him, the Silver Bullet. Melling Automotive Coors Light cars, Sean Hufstetler. See if he brings it down pit lane here or elects to stay out. He will stay out. James Loveland in 3rd. Douglas Wolk at 4th. And David Carpenter round out the top 5 for the moment. Pace car lights are still on here. And we want to welcome Blazer Pete and Heathen 3340 to the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining, and welcome everyone if you're just jumping in. Tonight's race is the Dale Jr. Save Track 115 for North Wilkesboro Speedway. 115 laps here. We just are hitting the halfway point. And this is race 9 of 13 on the season for these guys in the Underdog Racing League, and this is VSPEED. We want to welcome you out. Hope you enjoy the broadcast tonight. If you've liked it so far, please consider following or subscribing. You can find us on all of these different social media outlets, and we're going to be introducing kind of a second channel over on our YouTube. Our main channel over there is for race replays, so if you want to catch any of the action from races prior, you can check us out over on YouTube at VSPEED. And the next channel, we're actually just converting an old channel to VSPEED Garage, which is going to be more about automotive repairs, some custom parts and pieces that we can create using 3D printing. We got a few cars in the garage right now that I'm going to be working on making adjustments to, and just showing kind of general automotive maintenance and repair on some of those vehicles. And if we're ever trying to repair or do some kind of custom work to it, you will find it on that channel, VSPEED Garage. Used to be 3rd Gen Camaro hacks, and then it was Z hacks, featuring a selection of vehicles, primarily Camaros, but got a few different cars in a stable right now, and excited to be potentially bringing some new content to that channel. Pace car makes the hard left onto pit road. Green flag back in the air, and Winston Deal, a great restart as the battle for second position underway once again, right where we left off when the yellow flag flew. 56 of Loveland down low, 94 of Huffstettler up high, the 15 of Douglas Wolkett now challenging for the third position as Loveland was able to drive right on past. And now 20 laps on the tires of these drivers who have gotten out in front, and with James Loveland, who dominated the early stage of this race. He's led 39 laps here out of 61 that have been completed. But Winston Deal, who had driven up to second position, able to leapfrog him as they were making their way through traffic, and now takes the top spot. But here comes Loveland closing in out of turn number 4. The zero's been very good on that end of the racetrack, but as the run progresses, it seems like he does fall off just a little bit more than Loveland, as those two have broken way out in front, and the battle for third is on. Wolkett down low, Huffstettler up high, and at 27 of Orlando Jr. in the mix as well. Here comes Cademan Moore, very fast off the high line, and he almost runs in the back of Orlando Jr. Here comes David Carpenter, your pole sitter, back to the inside. Oh, and he puts Cademan Moore in the wall. They make contact. 27 clips the curb, drifts up the racetrack. Here goes the 71 of Carpenter, trying to take that spot away and move back in the top 5. Down the back straightaway, Carpenter trying to clear the 27. Can't quite do it out of turn 4. He does clear him now, so he'll go back to 5th position. In this battle for the lead, hot and heavy, nose to tail. The top 2 about a second, almost 2 seconds out in front of Douglas Wolkett in the 3rd position. And Ryan James, looking at your message now. To get into iRacing, really the best advice is just to, make sure you've got a solid wheel, got a good screen, good headset. There's a lot of different things to learn. This is a league race, so it's not an official kind of open series race. These guys, run together each week. They have these sessions set up ahead of time. Definitely a lot of fun to run in leagues. But the most important thing about iRacing is just be patient. It's going to be tough to get out of those lower classes because some drivers are very inexperienced when it comes to sim racing. But if you're a good driver, just be calm, drive smoothly, don't be too aggressive, and just try and finish races. That is my advice to you. And that is what some of these guys are trying to do here tonight as the top 2 continue to drive away. That gap now 2.2 seconds back to the 3rd place driver of Douglas Wolkett, the Butterfinger machine, who's pulled away from David Carpenter. And Sean Huffstettler hanging tough here in the top 5, doing a great job on those much older tires. Kevin Orlando Jr., though, he's got his sights set on the 94. Can he get up there and close, as he's now gotten out in front of Trevor Earhart? And that 97's been very good. He qualified up here in the 6th position and has been a competitor each and every week that we've been broadcasting, and trying to make his way past into the 6th spot. Can't quite clear the 27, but big dive into turn 1 here. He'll push the 27 up the racetrack, and he'll drive on away. This time is now 3 wide for a moment behind him. They settle that all out. And at the front, though, James Loveland putting some serious pressure on Winston Deal. I think he's just looking for a clean way around. Both those drivers, though, running incredibly fast laps compared to the rest of the field. Over a 10th faster than 3rd and 4th, and multiple 10ths faster than everyone else. As it definitely takes some experience and a skilled hands and feet to get around a short track like this. Got to be very careful putting down that gas pedal as we take a look from the nose of James Loveland, who led 39 laps, but Winston Deal has taken over control of this race. But 56 right here. He's got a chance at it. He's got to figure out a good way around. He might have to use the bumper here. Is this bottom groove really the only way around the track? He could try and get to the outside here. Now looks like he's trying to cross him over. Can't get there. Now he goes to the outside, and if he can hold on up here, the zero is going to have to stay down low. Can't use the outside of the racetrack, and there he goes. Loveland makes the move, trying to stay alongside here. He's going to do it the hard way if he can pass up here. Almost tags the wall, but still nose to nose at the front of this field, and Loveland starting to pull out in front. But the zero fights back down low. Almost contact, maybe a little bit of touch in there on across the start-finish line. In through turns 1 and 2, Loveland with the advantage. Can he clear him? He does. So James Loveland back to the top spot. And Winston Deal gonna have to fight back from second place now. But that 56 car, once he's been out front, he's been untouchable. We'll see if fighting like that use up any tires that he might have had. Let's take a look a little farther back at some battles going on here. The 13 of Tony Baird alongside the 03 of Brad Allison. And behind them, Dennis Steele, Kevin Orlando Jr. We've got drivers right up by the outside wall. And I did not think that was a way around this track, but it looks like it's working for both Dennis Steele and Tony Baird as they're making progress up high. Baird going to be able to clear the 27 of Kevin Orlando Jr. for the moment. And Dennis trying to get his nose up there. As Dylan Walterman scrubbed the outside wall out of turn 4 that time by. And he fights it out now with Brad Allison. The 02 and the 03. The way they've got their numbers, they look like they could be teammates. And they're up here in the 8th and 9th positions. Behind them, that is for the 10th spot, is, ooh, the 13 rubs the wall. And he rubs it again, headed into turn 3. Dennis Steele trying to take over 10th position. And he will do it for the moment. Mike Aiello Jr. behind him. Saw Kevin Orlando Jr. get very sideways out of turn 4. Oh, we got contact, the 21. Christopher Heights slips up into the 14 of Careberg, but Careberg able to continue on. As they race it out side by side, here comes the 21 and the 51 of Janes to the outside now. That car really beat up on the nose. And yellow flag gonna fly here. As we've got the 97 of Earhart in the wall. Bring out another yellow flag. Let's take a look at what happened to Trevor. It was a battle with Huffstutler, the 94 and the 97. This was for the 5th position. And the 97 of Earhart, all over the back bumper, fresher tires on that car. He goes to the inside, just misses the corner, kind of spins himself off the 94, tags the outside wall, and it loops around. Nobody hits him, luckily, but he will drop all the way to the 19th position. Now let's take a look at the points as they came into the race tonight. See, Earhart was he's about 40 behind, and was having a decent run here, working his way through the field. It's not going to help him as Aiello Jr. Right now up inside the top 5. He is actually on the pit lane right there, the 74 machine. Sean Huffstutler, who he made contact with, also up towards the top 5, and then James Loveland leading the race. Looks like he might be on his way to victory in this one. So that top points battle, which is a 3-way tie right now, could change shape headed into next week. And Earhart with a couple wins on the season. The way they do it here, though, only 13 race season, and it is just straight up old school points like they used to do in NASCAR. Whoever gets the most over the course of all 13 races, that's going to be your champion. And there are 2 drop weeks, so it's really like your best 11 races contribute to how many points you score. As Dennis Steele remains on the racetrack, only driver to do so, and he will be your leader for the moment. There are bonus points awarded for laps led, so there is a benefit in doing that, as he is in the Terminator paint scheme. The 29 car there in front of him, that is Jake Williams, looking to get back one of his laps that he is down. This would put him back to just 1 lap down. He's got only 7 laps on the tires, so not too much, really. So he won't be at much of a disadvantage, but will be still 1 lap down and hoping for another yellow to get him back on the lead lap. Nathan Morris also 1 lap down in the 22. And Alan Bargenquast, he is 4 laps down back on the racetrack. But those are the only drivers laps down, and only 2 drivers off the track. That is Parker Johnston and Justin Stunard. As we are about to get the green flag, there it is. Dennis Steele gets us going, and he's got James Loveland right to his inside on those fresh Goodyear Eagles. He'll drive right on by, and Dennis trying to make the corner, slams the outside wall, and he's going to be at a serious disadvantage. 34 laps on the tires. Here comes Hustutler to make it 3 wide. He'll drive right on by. So Dennis Steele going the wrong way. Not sure what the intent was other than the bonus points, but not sure it's going to work out as Loveland inherits the lead. Winston Deal to second. And these 2, your 2 fastest cars on the track throughout this race. But I would not count out the 94 of Hustutler. The way he stood up in the top 5 on those old tires was very respectable. And I think he could have something to challenge those guys up there if he can get up past this 15 of Wolcott. They are starting to stack up back here. Dennis Steele gets passed up by Nick Alves in the 14 of Scott Kerberg trying to go by. The 51 of James gets caught behind him. He's going to try and find a way around. And that 28 well off the pace. He started on, or restarted from first. He's back to 15th as James goes on by. And now looking like it could be 3 wide with the 22. Not going to happen that time, but the 21 of Christopher Heights drives past. So Dennis dropping like a rock right now as James Loveland doing the exact opposite of that. He is pulling away about 2/10 faster than second place last time by. And some serious short run speed in that car, and also very good on the long run. So has this place and this car really dialed in tonight. See up the road there, that is the 02 of Dylan Walterman, who is well behind right now. I'm not sure what happened to Dylan, but back here in the 20th position. The car does definitely have some right front damage. I was going to say it looked clean, but definitely not clean. He is in danger of going a lap down. And just under 20 to go. Some battles on track right now. Caden Moore has taken over the 6th position. Brad Allison back to 7th. Let's see who else. Looks like everybody pretty much single file right now, actually. Nobody really fighting side by side. There goes David Buell looking to the inside of Tony Baird. This is 8th and 9th position. But everybody else pretty well spaced out. I'm kind of surprised at, the action that we saw for those last few runs. And laps are clicking away. Not a lot of time for some of these guys, as it looks like the 81 of Alves trying to hold off Earhart. Trevor Earhart back to the outside, making up some ground now. It looks like he got the car repaired pretty well. And he'll try and climb into the top 10. He does so just now by working to the outside of the 81. Now he goes to the outside of Buell, David Buell, in that DeWalt machine. He'll drive right on past as well. So Earhart making up some ground back into the top 10. And now sets his sights on Tony Baird. He'll move back to 8th if he can complete this pass. Now nearly clears him out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway with the advantage. Dives into turn 3. He'll take that spot away. No challenges there. So Trevor Earhart, very strong, but has had to overcome quite a lot tonight. He went from the back of the field twice now and is up to the 8th position. Sean Huffstetler still putting pressure on third place Douglas Wolkett. This is another close battle. 4 cars here battling from 2nd through 5th, as well as Cademan Moore not far behind. He's trying to hold off Brad Allison. But James Loveland is driven away. He is 1.6 seconds out in front and continuing to stretch that gap. Although last time by, Winston Deal just a little bit quicker than he was, and fastest car on the track was David Carpenter, your pole sitter, who's in the top 5. But I think laps are just running short. These guys 2.6 seconds back as Huffstetler looks to the inside. Not going to happen. Wolkett maintains that line. It's going to be tough for Huffstetler to find a way around. He'll have to move him most likely, and it looks like David Carpenter definitely putting the pressure on Huffstetler now. As they work out of turn number 4, just 10 laps to go. James Loveland, actually 9 laps to go. And a comfortable margin, 1.8 seconds and growing. Unless a yellow flag comes out or he makes a big mistake, this is his race to lose. And Winston Deal, he's going to have to deal with 2nd place for the night. Very, very good in the middle portion of this race. He was able to get past Loveland through the traffic and held him off for a long time. He's led 24 laps in this race. As the battle for 3rd rages on, Wolkett able to hold him off on that high line, and Huffstetler cannot find a way around, but the top 5 here in contention to trade positions at least. As Loveland making easy work of Dennis Steele, or perhaps not, as the 28 fights back. Loveland will go to the inside. Dennis Steele, who restarted on the front row, he's already being lapped, and not perhaps the right decision to stay out, as he's currently 19th, 1 lap down. But he is the first car 1 lap down, so if anything was to happen, he would get the lucky dog. But he does have to deal with Dylan Walterman, who's not far behind him, so laps winding down either way. I think we're probably going green at this rate. James Loveland, almost 2 seconds in hand. And those cars behind him, the lap cars in front of Winston Deal, and Winston will go on by Walterman, and next car, Dennis Steele, in front of him now. Just 3 laps to go, and that gap is 2 seconds. The real battle is going to be for 3rd position. The final spot on the podium, who is it going to be? As Douglas Wolkett holding on to it for right now. And Huffstetler behind him, really putting pressure on, as the 0-2 is slow on the racetrack, not going to get in the way. 2 laps remaining as Dennis Steele nearly slides right down into Wolkett, and caution's going to fly. Who is that? That might have been Dennis Steele. I do not know who that was. I think Jake Williams. Yellow flag flies, though, as the leaders were coming to the white flag. And let's go take a look at what happened here. I think we had a couple incidents. The 21 gets taken out by Jake Williams, and I am not sure if there was something else that happened over here. Trying to see what that car was that was Oh, I guess it was just that incident. The 29 was just coming to pit lane. But, man, Christopher Heights, tough deal there. I don't know exactly what happened here. It looks like 29 drove it in deep. Came up right behind him, just drove right into the left rear quarter panel, spun the 21 into the wall. And then Christopher had a hard time getting that car rolling again. I think the grass and the way it was sitting there, he backs into the wall and then eventually got it rolling, but not before going a lap down. But we're going to have overtime, and a few drivers are going to bring it to pit lane. Not sure who the lucky dog was. I think it could have been Dennis Steele, though. So he caught a break there. Christopher Heights, a lap down. Nathan Morris, still a lap down. Kevin Orlando Jr., a lap down as well. Really, those are the only cars that brought it in. Dennis Steele back here, he'll be 17th and on the lead lap. The only driver on the lead lap with fresh tires, so perhaps that was what he was hoping for. He might be able to grab 5-10 spots here before this thing is all said and done. But James Loveland, he's going to have to try and hold off these guys. Winston Deal's been very good on the restarts. We'll see how he does here. It has been a very quick broadcast here tonight, just at an hour right now, and pace car lights are off. If we make it back to the white flag here, we'll finish regardless of what happens on the racetrack. And if there's any kind of wreck that happens on the white flag, we'll have to see if, or once the leaders take the white flag, out of turn 4 or something, maybe could be a problem as they navigate back around the racetrack like what we saw earlier. Loveland made contact with cars that were wrecked on the backstretch. As pace car makes that hard left-hand turn, we're going overtime racing from North Wilkesboro. Green flag in the air and good restart again. Winston Deal trying to stay alongside. Can he steal this thing away from James Loveland? He'll pinch him down. He'll get pushed up the racetrack. Not going to be able to fight for the win at the moment. His caution is going to fly again, and it looks like maybe the 15 of Wolkett able to slip on pass. Don't know what the yellow was for. Oh, looks like Nathan Morris, Dennis Steele, and a few others. Dennis had to restart at the tail end of the field. Let's go back and take a look at the replay. They went down into turn 1, the 22. He gets turned by the 28, and the 27 goes around. That brings out the yellow flag. It says finishing. I'm not sure if they only get one attempt at the green-white checkered. See if I can find out in their rules here. Pace car going to turn on to pit lane. And that is it. Kind of anticlimactic, but James Loveland, your winner. He holds them all off on the overtime restart. Congratulations to James Loveland. The 56 car, he started on the front row and he dominated this race. 80 laps led here tonight. One of the fastest laps, if not the fastest lap on the track. And he holds off Winston Deal and others. Congratulations to James. We're going to cut to a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with the post-race interviews.
Welcome to VSPEED, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing, specialized packages to help grow your league, and advertise your sponsors.
Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn one. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey.
I'm Jonathan Proper, CEO of Drops.com, and I'm here to give you the naked truth about laundry. Size does not matter when it comes to laundry. Let's start with jugs. It's big all right, messy too, and expensive. You know why? Lots of plastic, lots of water, shipped all over the country, from factory to warehouse to retailer. That's what you're paying for. It's a dinosaur, and we all know dinosaurs are extinct. Meet our imitators. This is your average detergent pod. It has 20 plus chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Nice colors. I hope they don't stain. I know color doesn't clean. Would you take a bath in either of these? No way. That's why we developed Drops. Drops is dye-free, MPE-free, phosphate-free, animal cruelty-free. So free, it's freaking awesome. We make Drops with only 6 safe ingredients, certified by the EPA. Drops is tough on dirt, but gentle enough for baby skin. It's so gentle, I'm taking a bath in it. Doing laundry with Drops is hard to up. 1 drop equals 1 load. Now, can we talk about my package? 100% recyclable. Manufacturing Drops ourselves and distributing directly helps us cut out the middleman and reduce transportation costs. With delivery plans as low as $4 a month, the average family can save $100 a year. Hello? What are you saying? The cleanest clothes at the lowest price? You're damn right it's a great deal. Thanks for calling. Shipping is always free. You choose the product and plan that's right for you, and we'll drop Drops at your door. The naked truth is that Drops makes laundry better and life easier. Every Drops counts, saving money, plastic, water, and time. So go to Drops.com. The first one's on us.
And we are back at the track now, waiting for some drivers to get up in our chat. So your winner here tonight, again, James Loveland, second week in a row. And just waiting for these guys. I am not able to bring them in to the broadcast booth here. Give them a couple minutes more, but I guess until then, want to let you know that we are doing a giveaway here on VSPEED. You can follow us on our Twitch and right here on Twitch and over on Twitter to be eligible for that giveaway. It's going to be any VSPEED related hat or shirt. Once we hit the follower goals, 200 on Twitter and 500 here on Twitch. We're well on our way. We want to thank everyone who's followed us over the last few months and getting us closer and closer to those goals. Just about 60 away on Twitter and a little over 100 here on Twitch, but making great progress. I want to thank everyone who's come along for the journey. And I want to thank our sponsors here as well. That is Below the Double Yellow Podcast, Kent Beer, Renegade Coffee Bar, and everybody on Team VSPEED that makes this happen. So we're waiting for these guys to jump in. I'm not able to bring them into the booth. We can run through the results ahead of time before the full interviews here. So let's do that, actually. So we can take a look at the full race results. 8 cautions in tonight's race, 7 total lead changes, so not a whole lot of action at the very front. It was really just among 2 drivers. That was James Loveland and Winston Deal. James Loveland coming out on top. And Winston Deal has to settle for second. Good restart for him, but they dove it in deep side by side, and he comes out second. Douglas Wolcott, he comes home third here tonight. Good finish for him as well. Sean Huffstetler fourth. Cademan Moore fifth. David Carpenter, your pole sitter, finishes sixth. Trevor Earhart seventh. Eighth position was Brad Allison. David Buell ninth. Nick Alves rounding out the top 10. In the 11th position tonight, Tony Baird, the number 13 car. Brett Sommers in the 12th position. Mike Aiello Jr. in 13th. Scott Kerberg in 14th. Matt Janes in 15th. John Magner 16th. Dennis Steele 17th. Christopher Heights 18th. Nathan Morris finishes in 19th. Kevin Orlando Jr. finishes in the 20th position. 21st is Alan Bargainquast. 22nd, Dylan Walterman. 23rd was Jake Williams. 24th was Parker Johnson. Rounding out the field tonight, Justin Stunard in the 25th position. As I think we may have our winner here with us now. James Loveland, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, James, you put on a dominating performance here tonight in the Underdog Racing League. You start on the front row in second position. You lead 80 laps on your way to victory. You had to hold them off on that final restart. What did you do differently than everyone else here that kept the tires on it and kept the speed in the car?
I don't know, to be honest, but I definitely was braking a lot earlier and entering a little bit higher and exiting off on the inside, and it seemed to help, and I was getting better runs. But yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks. I mentioned it last week, and yeah, I love this track. I love how it drives, and for some reason I can get around here fast.
Yeah, and definitely you were the fastest car on the short run, the long run, no matter how old the tires were. You were up there challenging for the lead or leading, and putting on a great performance. This is 2 wins in a row and just a few races left in the season. You came in pretty much tied for the points lead. So how much confidence does this give you in these next few races, to wrap up the season?
Yeah, this definitely boosts my confidence. Beginning of the season, I was not having the best of luck in races. I would have pit road mistakes, or I'd get involved in a wreck or something. And so getting these couple wins past 2 weeks, this is a really big boost, and I need to keep on going. Hopefully we can win more.
Yes, sir. Definitely been strong here the last few weeks. 2 victories in a row. We're going to go to New Hampshire next week. Another short-ish track. What are your thoughts on going out there?
That's a whole different ball game for me. I never run it in a cup car, so I don't know how it's going to be, but just try my best to stay up front and learn behind other drivers maybe, and hopefully I can at least get a top 5 out of it, hopefully a win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty similar to what we saw here tonight with, really having to manage the tires on the long run and It's the low downforce, high horsepower package, and it looks like you've got that pretty much dialed in here tonight with the way you ran at North Wilkesboro. So see if you can follow it up. But 2 wins in a row after starting on the front row here tonight. Anyone you want to give a shout out to for tonight's victory?
Of course, you guys. You guys do great broadcasts as usual, and yeah, definitely got a shout out to Justin and this Underdog Racing League. He puts on great races for us. It's really fun, and I really enjoy it.
Awesome, James. Well, congrats on a victory. We won't be broadcasting next week, but we'll be back in a couple weeks. So we'll look forward to see how you do in the results from New Hampshire. But good luck out there, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, that was second place finisher tonight, James Loveland. And now we're going to hopefully bring in second place Winston Deal. Let's see if he can jump in here with us. Gotta find him in here if he is still in here. There he is. And I am not able to pull him in. Give us just a moment here. We'll get Winston in the booth. And there he is, Winston Deal. This is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
Well, Winston, you had a hard-fought battle up there with James for the victory. You came up just a little bit short in those closing laps. You had some great restarts, though, and almost had a chance at it on the overtime finish. You led a lot of laps and had a very strong race. Was there anything you could have done to challenge that number 56?
I'm thinking I probably could have. I think if I would have kept the lead there on that long run, kept a little bit of track position going to the pits and being in control of that restart, that last restart, that'd have been beneficial. Last restart though, just tried to get in, bang on his door, get out of turn 2 first because I kind of figured they'd wreck behind, and they did, but just didn't get as good of a run as I anticipated, and ended up having to settle for second.
Yeah, you guys had quite a few laps on the tires, and we had seen on an earlier restart where some of the guys had really overcooked it and overestimated the grip that they had, headed into the corner. Was that like a concern in your mind that you were going to drive in way too deep, or was it really just, I got to pinch them down?
My main goal was to pinch him down, not let him get as good of a run as he'd been getting. I'd really tried to back it in nice and easy and then focus on my exit and try to roll his outside a little bit instead of diving it in hard.
Yeah, we saw you a couple times when you were working through the traffic on the older tires. You cut it right down by the pit wall. A very unusual way to exit that corner. It's really slick down there. Was that a tactic? Did you find some extra grip down there, or how were you making that work?
I started trying to go down there when I was getting a better run out of 4 than other guys, and I learned down there it just kind of turns the car a little bit more, and you can get a better shoot down in turn 1 and try and get your nose in there.
Yeah, definitely was fun to watch you do that. I wasn't sure you were going to be able to survive it each time, but you ended up making it work and actually got by James doing that, but come up just a bit short here in the end. We head to New Hampshire next week, another short style racetrack. So what are your thoughts on going out there?
I don't have much experience in it. I really only ran it in the modifieds, so definitely going to be a big learning curve. Should be pretty easy to pick up on. I'm usually pretty good around the shorter tracks, and it's pretty much one of them. Just got to figure it out in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun track. It's very difficult to pass there. I'm sure you know that from the modifieds as well, but we'll see if you can follow up the second place run, maybe capture a victory out there in the Granite State, but come home second tonight, and you lead 24 laps on the way. Anyone you want to give a shout out to for the runner-up finish?
Just parents for giving me the opportunity to play iRacing and get the sim rig, and just some friends that have been cheering me on the past couple weeks.
And well, congrats on P2 here tonight. Go celebrate. We'll catch up with you in a couple weeks from Pocono.
10-4, thank you.
Thank you. And we're going to bring up third place finisher Douglas Wolkett. Got to wait for him to get up into the booth with us. If he is still in here, we'll have to see if he is in the chat. I don't think I see Doug in here, so we may have to skip him for tonight. So just the top two, it appears. So that's going to pretty much do it. We'll show you those guys once again. I'll give you the information on Douglas here, coming home third place in the race tonight. He started in third, he finished third, so did a good job of holding on to the track position, and he held off Sean Hostetler in the closing laps of this race. That was an intense battle between himself, the 94, and the 84, and also pole sitter David Carpenter. So definitely a good run for Douglas, and we'll see what he can do in a couple weeks. But that's pretty much going to wrap up our broadcast here tonight. We want to thank everyone for coming out and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider following or subscribing, and check us out on all of our social media channels. You can see us on YouTube, where we post race replays, as well as announcements on Facebook and Twitter. You can also catch us on Instagram for other updates when it comes to racing and all that we're doing here on our other channels. We're also going to be bringing VSPEED Garage kind of back to life, and hopefully you can catch some interesting automotive repair and maintenance content over there. You can also find us at vspeedsim.com to learn more about all of our different services and everything that we offer to take your iRacing experience to the next level. We want to thank everybody who allows us to do this each and every week. We want to thank the Underdog Racing League once again for a great race and a lot of fun broadcasting. And we are going to see what we can jump in with to wrap up here tonight. We'll jump in with Mr. Justin Botello over there. He is playing iRacing as well, so enjoy. Please join us on the raid, and we'll catch you all in actually, before we go, we are not going to be broadcasting next week. We will be off for those two broadcasts next week, so we will be back in 2 weeks with this league. But we will be here tomorrow night with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, so you'll want to come back 8:25 tomorrow night for that race. That is going to be from Pocono, where we will be the next broadcast after as well for this league. So thank you all for coming out, and have a great night.